Ronnie Price, Mayor.
Mike Warrington, City Council Member.
Troy Tabor, City Council Member.
Tim Berry, City Council Member.
Ben Graver, Captain, Police Department.
Donna Davis, Chief Financial Officer.
Lance Onstadt, Assistant City Administrator.
Chad Russell, Fire Chief.
Rick Lyons, Director of Public Works and Utilities.
JT Klaus, City Attorney.
Krista Turner.
Les Mangus, Director of Community Development.
Susan Renner, City Clerk.
Jennifer McCausland, City Administrator.
All right. At this time, Jerry Smith with Faith Baptist Church is going to lead us in an invocation.
Great. Lord, thank you for this day that you've given us today. And we thank you as we, those who went through the tornado or are still rebuilding, give them encouragement. Thank you for all those who came and responded to them. Lord, continue to give us a spirit of community and working together. Be at the greater Andover days, give us safety and just another good time of neighborhood fun. Bless the business tonight and help us to always think of our neighbor and love them as you have commanded us to. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Please join us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. Now, at this time, I'll open the floor. At this time, I'll open the floor for public forum. If you'd like to say something to the council or concern, state your name, your address, and keep it short. No takers. Too late.
Mr. Mayor and City Council, thank you for your time this evening. I got two things. Number one, thank you for orchestrating the pickup and clean up the debris on Yorktown and Hedgewood, that little area there. Thank you for everybody that showed up. We as a neighborhood greatly appreciate that. Secondly, if you have not checked out the Andover Citizen Police Academy, I strongly encourage you as citizens to at least get a hold of Chief Buchanan or even Captain Graber and just ask some prying questions. It's very informational and it was a blast. You learned quite a bit. So that's all I got.
Very good. Very informative, wasn't it? Thank you. Anyone else? All right, let's move on. Acceptance of, public forum's closed. Acceptance of agenda.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, sir.
move to accept the agenda as presented.
Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Motion carries 6-0. All right, and 7, awards, employee milestones, third quarter 2022. And Jenny, Chief Russell, and Daniel Shaypaul are gonna talk about it.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. First one this evening is Derek Sage from Parks and Recreation. Derek is our Assistant Manager on the Parks and Grounds side of the department. Derek probably is aware I tend to ramble, so I've made a note to assist me in conveying how we appreciate his efforts over the past several years. Does he hold it first? You hold it, what? There you go.
Nice.
During the last 5 years working with Derek, it's been a real pleasure. The city really benefits from his flexibility. Being able to work through, it seems like almost every year there's been some sort of crisis. You know, we've had the tornado and COVID and a growing department, growing city. That's been a huge benefit to us, and it's hard to quantify and it's easy to understate. But Derek's able to work in a wide variety of spaces, and that's a real strength in our industry, if you want to call it that, in the space that is Parks and Rec. You can see Derek out working on trails and trees, working on irrigation, working on facilities, assisting with gaps in program staffing, out at events. It's a real value to be able to be multi-talented like that. But I think one of the best things about having Derek on the crew and on the team is that he's a contributor. I mean, he really is somebody that comes forward each day, and he wants to make sure that we've improved our position. At the end of that day, at the end of the shift, we're in a little bit better spot than we were at 7 a.m. or 6 a.m. or 1 a.m. the night before, whatever the case might be. And, a little bit of improvement each day gets us in a lot of good places over time. So it's much appreciated. Rick did mention that this was an upgraded crystal from the others. So that's been improved as well.
Hi, Chad Russell, Fire Chief. It is my pleasure to welcome Jeremy Helsel. Oh, come on up, young man. And Jeremy brought some lovely members of his family as well. Jeremy, like most of our folks, started with Andover Fire Rescue longer than 5 years ago, but he's been with the department in a career capacity for 5 years. So his job is a firefighter, so he does those types of things, but he always goes above and beyond. And I would say that, like most of our employees, we have wonderful employees. So he's involved in maintenance. Yeah, you can see by the look on his face. Involved is an understatement. So let me give you an idea of what the maintenance program does for the city. So we change the oil in most of the trucks, and we do some light maintenance. We'll do maybe change the brakes, or do some tire rotations, or we'll do some small repairs. Well, a lot of times that saves us a few $100. Sometimes it's better. An example that I have is we had a fire engine that had the seat broken. There was a piece in the seat broken. We priced the part. It was $2,500 roughly. So these guys said, yeah, we can do better than that. So they took the seat apart and found out the actual part inside that was broken, got the information from the company that sold that to the seat manufacturer, got to that company, bought the part, and it was $12 or $15 and a couple hours of these guys' time. Right. So that's what kind of work the maintenance program does at the fire department. Jeremy's one of our investigators. That's vital work. They do fire cause and origin determination. He's also on the station committee, so he's been at every meeting and working all kinds of hours to make sure that your station design is as good as it can be. And his history as a builder has been absolutely valuable in that process. Recently, our most recent Hands to Serve project, of course, he was right there in the middle because that's the kind of guy he is. And the gravy on top of all these mashed potatoes is, you like that? Firefighter humor. Is that he's also a woodworker. So he's been a builder for as long as I've known him, and much, much longer than that. So we come up with projects like, man, it would be nice to have new cabinets on the other side of the kitchen because we don't have enough storage room. Well, Chief, couple $100, I can build you some cabinets. Not only did he build the cabinets, but they are absolutely fantastic. They're custom. He put little details in them that only Jeremy would think of and be capable of pulling off. And they've served us absolutely wonderfully. That's just two small examples of the extra benefit he gives us. So it's my pleasure to present Jeremy with the premium crystal 5-year award. Thank you very much. Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks. I'll be right back. Next, I'd like to welcome firefighter Joey Donaldson. So Joey is in a similar situation, 5 years with the city of Andover as a career member, but a reserve volunteer before that. So he's been here for quite a long time. Joey's also one of our investigators and has some very high-level certifications in that field. Really sets him apart. He takes care of a lot of our tech rescue gear, making sure that that's a very time-intensive job because it all has to be perfect. Because if I'm going to hang my behind off that rope, he's going to make sure that it's ready to go. So it's super important work. He manages our hose testing department. We test 5 miles worth of hose every year, and he makes sure that we get it done. He is the only sustaining and charter member of our peer support team. So people have come and gone, and we're in a transition right now where we've had more gone than have come. And so Joey continues to be there for the folks in the Andover Fire family when they have issues or when they may have issues. He's the guy that's taking time out of his day to make sure that everybody's doing okay. He was also the driver of Engine 16 and made the first response into the tornado and did an absolutely fantastic job. Speaking with his supervisor that night, Joey was a great leader that evening. And then as if all of that wasn't enough, did you see my note? Oh, I thought that's why you were giggling. So we have a city Clark Griswold. That's Rick. Well, the fire department has their own Clark Griswold. So I drive to the fire station 2-3 years ago, and one evening in December, and there's Christmas lights on the firehouse. And I'm thinking, where did those come from? That's really nice. It's very well done, but I have no idea how they got there. This guy went to the store, bought the Christmas lights, got up there, hung them himself, and he's done it every year since and makes sure that it's all taken care of. So he's just showing you how much he cares about the house you provide for us and how much he cares about us as a community. So again, with the ultra premium upgraded crystal, thank you so much for your service. Thank you.
All right. I don't feel like I have the jokes as good as Daniel and Chief Russell, so I'll warn you, DeJe. I've got the privilege tonight to recognize DeJe Glassburn, who is one of our building inspectors here at City of Andover. And I legitimately have the upgraded because this one's for 15 years. DeJe started his career with us on May 17th in 2007. And when I thought about that, I thought, I bet a lot has changed with regard to buildings in Andover and what DeJe has witnessed. And so to give you some perspective, none of these things were here in 2007 when DeJe joined our team. 1,280 of our homes. And to give you perspective, that's more than a quarter. 81 commercial buildings. And to add some color to that, that includes the Sunstone Apartments, the YMCA, which is like womp because it wasn't here when you got here and now it's not here again, and you get to inspect it a second time in the coming months. 2 elementary schools, the USD 385 CAPS building, and then out here in this park, City Hall, the Public Library, Capitol Federal Amphitheater. This city looked a lot different when DeJe joined our team all those years ago. And I think that this list of buildings indicates DeJe's legacy and the work product that he's provided to the city of Andover as he inspected part of or all of those buildings during those years. It doesn't, unfortunately, indicate that things are slowing down. So we talked about the tornado. And so besides all of the buildings and the commercial growth that we are experiencing here in Andover, he also gets to inspect many of those homes again for a second time as we go through a rebuild process. He will not be slowing down anytime soon, but will continue to move site to site, doing what he does best for the city of Andover. One of the main ways that I got to know DeJe was through the safety committee. It was a pleasure to get to chair that committee for a number of years. I believe you've been a part of the committee pretty much the whole time it's been here. Does that seem accurate? Yeah. Anyone? You weren't voluntold. You just agreed to do it. And that was obvious because he's always engaged his colleagues in that committee in a really meaningful way. Here at City of Andover, on the employee side, we talk about near misses, and DeJe always has some great examples to share, and we consider near misses an opportunity where something could have gone wrong, it didn't go wrong. So now we're going to go back and tell our colleagues so that they don't suffer from something like that in the future. He is basically always looking out for the safety of the city of Andover, and that means both the employees, but the public at large as well. So DeJe, for 15 years of working to protect the citizens and employees of Andover, I'm honored to give you your award, and his lovely wife, Erica, is here tonight as well. We should give her a round of applause too. And he doesn't want to say anything either.
All right. Let's see. Number 8.1, presentation from Butler Community College. Dr. Kroll's going to come up here and talk to us and tell us all the exciting things been going on.
I'm not sure who gets to be the recipient of the gift, but I'll give it to somebody here in a second. So I'm just here. I'm Kim Kroll. I'm the president of Butler Community College. I'm here tonight to just say thank you. We have been in Andover for more than 30 years, I think, probably. And in that time, tremendous opportunities to help this community grow, help this community learn, but great partnerships with the city of Andover and the folks that are on the council and the administration and the community as well. Just so you have a little bit of an idea, we went back and looked at data from 2000 on. To go back further is a little bit harder in our systems and stuff, but Andover students, and it doesn't mean that they've just come to us right out of high school, but it could be an adult student or an older student. But Andover students that have come to us in those since 2000 on have earned. There have been 864 awards that have been given, so either degrees or certificates. 786 individual students, and 102 of those have participated since 2015 in our early college academies, where high school students, juniors and seniors, can take college classes and finish their associate's degrees before they graduate from high school and have their high school diploma. So, big impact that way. These were the numbers that really blew me away, because it's really hard to grasp, credit hours. But there were 185,000 credit hours that were attempted, and of the degrees and stuff that were earned, there were 156,000 credit hours earned from those almost 6,400 individuals. And so, you stop and think about the educational impact and the value that brings to your community. You think about the dollars saved when students have the opportunity to come to the community college level and, and have open access and pay less in tuition and fees than, a lot of the four-year institutions. So it's significant. And you folks are a big part of that. Our most recent culinary building, we're so thrilled about that. And city staff and city council and administrators were an integral part in helping us get that thing built really fast. We broke ground on that building the 2nd of December and opened the doors for class on the 22nd of August. It wasn't Hutton's fastest project because we asked them, but they said it was pretty close. But that didn't happen by chance. It happened through good partnerships and it happened through good communication. And really on the front end, we sat down with Les and some of the team here in Andover and said, okay, we know about the rules and regulations that we have to follow and the documents that we have to submit. And we want to make sure we do them all right the first time. So we don't waste your time. We don't waste anybody else's time. And we had a great conversation at that meeting. Okay, if things come to you and they're not completely, prepared the right way, what are people missing so that we don't do the same thing? And so things like that helped that process move along in a really timely way. We are proud, really, really proud to be in Andover and back in Butler County. We're proud of that building and we think it's just going to be a great addition to the community. We're excited about already future things that we're talking about. That are going to be along that area. And so I just wanted to come tonight and say thank you and bring you something purple, of course, from Butler. And I don't know whether I should give it to Jenny or I should give it to Ronnie or who should have it. But anyway, this is just a little thank you from Butler, from one partner to another partner. And we're looking forward to continued great working relationships and great friendships and great partnerships. So thank you very much.
Rick, did you tell her that's why we put the purple lights in?
Oh, no.
Thank you. All right. Consent agenda 9.1 through 9.6.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, sir.
I move to approve consent agenda items 9.1 through 9.6 as presented.
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Motion carries 6-0. All right. Unsafe structure hearing. Chip is going to talk to us about these this evening.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor and City Council. I bring three to you this evening. Two of them, 2413 Velvet Leaf Court and 618 Hedgewood, East Hedgewood, have both been cleared and made safe and secure. The tornado funds have been released back to the homeowners. After we begin the actual hearing for 1220 Colleen, I'll go into a little more on that. So.
I don't think we have.
Sorry.
So I think we need to open a public hearing then for 1220 South Colleen.
Okay. I'm sorry. I was lost in the shuffle. We need to open a public hearing for 1220 South Colleen. Right?
Yes. Okay, so 1220 South Colleen received quite a bit of damage during the storm. It's my estimation that it's unrepairable. As you can see from the pictures, the soffit is all destroyed. The fascia is destroyed. The gable end on the front of the home is caved in. Half the roof supports are missing. I actually walked into the house with my N95 mask to avoid the mold issues in the home. And the walls have popped everywhere. It's definitely a hazard. If this was in a larger neighborhood with more children, I would have taken a very proactive stance on this one to get it fenced off. I would have taken care of that as the city. But this house needs to be demolished. If you see on the council paperwork that I provided, I asked for 30 days to complete, or to give the homeowner time to get this house demolished. If not, then I will take care of it at that point. So we've not been able to make any contact with the homeowner. The United Way, of course, Jenny's talked with the United Way. They have not been able to make any contact with the homeowner. It's my fear that he's walked away from this home.
Probably. Yeah, this is in really bad shape. This is just 2 houses down from me.
Yes.
And they have salvaged everything that is salvageable in the house and around the house, and sheds and everything. And I don't think anyone in the neighborhood has even spoken to them as well. So unfortunately, I think it's the city will probably end up having to take it down.
Yes, I've already actually spoke with a couple demolition contractors and have them on board. So if we need to pull the trigger, they're right in line to get it done for us.
I'm for doing it as expeditiously as we can.
Yes, sir.
All
Yes,
right.
sir.
Do we need to close the public hearing?
Yeah, at this time, we'll close the public hearing. All right. Any
Mr.
questions? Any questions for Chip?
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, sir.
I move to adopt a resolution requiring the repair or demolition of the structure and removal of objects located at 1220 South Colleen, Andover, Kansas.
Second.
Any further discussion?
Did we need a date on that? Or is
Pardon?
it fine to just say it?
Pardon me?
We didn't need to, because he had said 30 days
As of today.
as of today. Did we need to put a date on it or not worry about that? No? Okay,
All right.
No, I think the resolution states it, so you're okay.
cool.
Okay. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Motion carries 6-0. All right. 11-1-1533-1539 North Andover Road, Z-A 22-0004. And do I need to read this first? Right. You'd think I'd learn. We're gonna, I have a checklist I need to go through. This is an application to change the zoning district classifications from a SF-2 single-family residential medium density district and B2 neighborhood business district to a B3 retail and service business district with an arterial transition overlay on the property and generally located at 1533 and 1539 North Andover Road, Andover, Kansas. Before we proceed with this hearing, I'd like to ask council if any of them have intended to disqualify themselves from participating in this case because they have a conflict of interest.
No.
No.
I will now ask the council if any of them have received any ex parte verbal or written communication prior to the agenda item which they would like to share.
No.
Has the city clerk received any protest petitions on this case?
No protest petitions were filed in the office of the city clerk within the required 15 days following the planning commission public hearing on August the 16th.
All right. I now ask council members if they have all received copies of the draft of the planning commission for August 16th, 2022, which summarizes the hearing on the case.
Yes.
Yes.
I now call on City Zoning Administrator Les E. Mangus to provide us with a report on this case.
Mr. Mayor and council, this request seems pretty simple on the surface. The potential buyer of the property simply wants to operate a restaurant with outdoor patio seating. It takes a few check boxes to be checked for that to be possible. The outdoor seating is only allowed in the B3 retail service business district. So the property was applied for B3 with an arterial transition overlay that limits the uses to those that are allowed in the B2. So it's a way to work around the system to get that outdoor patio allowed, yet not allow all of those uses in the B3 district that really wouldn't fit that neighborhood. The neighborhood is called out in the comprehensive plan as an area for transition to business uses. There are some residences. It's close to the schools. It's close to some commercial businesses, but it's also surrounded by single-family residences. So ultimately, your planning commission held the hearing and recommends approval of the case, conditioned on the dedication of the half-street Andover Road right-of-way. That's been taken care of already by the current owner. It was accepted on your agenda earlier this evening.
Okay. Does the applicant wish to present any new information? We would like to welcome everyone interested in this agenda to come to the podium and give your name and address. Please please limit your comments to 3 minutes. The governing body has been provided the draft minutes and the video of the public hearing. And I'm gonna try this again. The governing body has been provided draft minutes and the video of the public hearing has been made available. So please limit your comments to information not previously shared at the public hearing held on August 16th, 2022. Does anyone from the public have any new information? No. Does the applicant have any further responses to comment? Nope. All right. Assuming the council has received all the information they needed on this case, you have received an outline of choices provided under the state statutes for council action KSA 12-757C. Council, how do you wish to act?
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, sir.
I move to adopt the ordinance approving the recommendation of the Planning Commission for zoning case Z-A 22-0004, changing the zoning district classification from the SF-2 single-family residential / medium density district and B2 neighborhood business district to the B3 retail and service business district with an arterial transition overlay.
Second.
Any further discussion?
Do we get to find out what kind of restaurant it is? I guess
That's over my pay grade, man.
Did you want to come up and tell us what they're, we are curious.
Good evening. I'm Ben Thomas is my name. Address is 12621 Southwest 80th. We're just excited for the opportunity to bring some type of a breakfast lunch scenario to the equation. Nothing's been set just yet because obviously we're just getting our teeth cut. But it's something that we're passionate about. So we hope to bring something special to that spot. I think you'll be very pleased with the outcome. So
awesome. Thank you.
Thanks, Ben.
Thanks, sir.
I think it'll be pretty cool there, right by the Redbud Trail, just having something.
Yes, it will. Any further discussion, questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Motion carries 6-0. Thank you, sir. Heritage Mixed Use Second Edition.
Mr.
Plan-
Mayor, I'm going to interrupt real quick and just remind everyone that if anyone's aggrieved by the final decision, that they have 30 days after today to appeal to district court.
Sorry, thank you. All right, now Justin Constantino will talk to us about the final planned unit development, Heritage Mixed Use Second Edition.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. The Heritage Mixed Use Second Edition Final PUD Plan is part of the Heritage Mixed Use Preliminary PUD Plan located just north of US 54-400 and west of Yorktown Parkway. The final PUD contains parcels 1, 2A, 2B, and Reserve A on 10 lots of property just under 16 acres. The use of the properties is primarily mixed-use commercial, intended for walkable streets, housing, shopping, and public spaces. The subject property receives existing water and sewer services from the city of Andover and access from the future US 54-400 frontage road and the future Founders Parkway extension. The subdivision committee reviewed this item at their August 9th meeting and recommended approval to the planning commission. The planning commission subsequently reviewed this item at their August 16th meeting and did approve it. That concludes my presentation. I'm available for any questions that you may have.
Any questions?
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, sir.
I move to accept the dedications on the Heritage Mixed Use Second Edition Final Planned Unit Development Plan as approved by the Planning Commission.
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Motion carries 6-0. 12-2, petitions, developers agreement, and resolution of advisability. And Mr. Onstott will speak to us about that.
Mr. Mayor, Council, the improvements identified during the plating process are portions of them are being, petitions have been submitted to use public financing or special assessment financing to complete. What you see in front of you on the plat here, a lot of the public improvements are actually part of the tax increment financing district and will be funded as such. Namely, this Heritage Way that you see, the single street that's being platted with this. The two petitions for your consideration tonight are for on-street parking and driveway entrances along Heritage Way. If that sounds familiar, it's because you have already accepted petitions for these improvements at your August 9th meeting. Those petitions were submitted and subsequently accepted by you previous to the plat that Justin just presented and you guys just accepted the dedications on, which has required we to consider new, or you to consider new petitions reflective of this platted condition that the real estate is in now. So the amounts of the petitions for the improvements remain the same. The only thing that has changed is the benefit district, the legal description of the property that will be assessed these costs. So in addition to the petition, you all did adopt a resolution of advisability. This item amends that resolution, again, just reflective of the legal description change now that the property is platted. Since it was not platted on August 9th, the developers or subdividers agreement was not considered. That is included here. And again, that just sets forth the responsibility for the benefit district or the owner as it relates to financial guarantees and other conformance with city policies.
Thank you. Any questions?
Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
I move to accept the petitions for paving improvements, approve the developers agreement, and adopt the amending resolution of advisability related to the Heritage Mixed Use Second Edition.
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Motion carries 6-0. 12-3, amending work ordinance. Again, Lance will speak to us about this.
So again, this ordinance amends the one you all previously adopted on August 9th. So it is reflective of the legal description change again from unplatted tracts from the previous to the platted lots and blocks now.
Mr. Mayor.
Yes, sir.
Thanks, Lance, for that presentation. I move to adopt an ordinance authorizing the construction of the certain internal improvements related to the Heritage Mixed Use Second Edition.
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Motion carries 6-0. Hodges 7th edition, change order number 1, storm water drain improvements. And Rick Landreth is going to speak with us about this.
Mr. Mayor and Council, when the stormwater portion of Hodges 7th was bid, it did not include a dry detention pond as part of the work. I think that there was a little bit of confusion and a little bit of concern on the overall cost as bids been running, and the developer was holding that out for the potential to pay for that out of pocket. The bids came in extremely low compared to what the estimate was and the petition, and there's plenty of funds left to add this work into the petition. This is items that would normally be included in the petition. And they've asked to change order this back in, and as such, it was $25,000 project. It didn't seem prudent to go bid that when you already had the contractor on site to do this and incur more mobilization costs. Staff is recommending approval of this petition. I would point out that this is a 75-25 project where, I'm sorry, nope, the stormwater is 100% on this one, so never mind. 100% is paid for by the developer or the property.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, sir.
move to approve change order number 1 to the sanitary sewer water distribution system and stormwater drain improvements to serve Hodges 7th edition with Meads Construction, Inc., Wichita, Kansas, in the not to exceed amount of $25,263.
Second.
Any further discussion?
Rick, is it, sorry, Mr. Mayor, I do have one question.
Sure.
Rick, is this something that's needed? I mean, I guess I understand because they had more money, but if it's needed now, why? And I figured stormwater.
So it is required. When you subdivide and develop property, you have to account for the increased runoff. And so the detention is what handles that runoff. So the runoff rate doesn't exceed the runoff rate previous to the construction. So by doing that, they build a detention pond to hold that, and it slows the rate of flow off during a storm. It is required. I think the reason it was left out was at one point they were thinking they would just pay for it out of pocket because they were concerned that petitions didn't include enough money to fund the project. But because the work came in under, as you are aware, a lot of times we come up here now and we say we have new developer agreements, new petitions because the projects have been running high. And I think they were concerned on that one, so they held it out.
Thank you.
Thus, it wouldn't add it back.
Appreciate that, Rick. Thanks.
Anyone else? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Motion carries 6-0. Yorktown Parkway, 14-1 preliminary design engineering supplemental agreement, central to 13th Street. Les Mangus is going to talk to us.
This supplemental agreement is a follow-up to our workshop last night where we discussed the conceptual alignment of Yorktown Parkway between Central Avenue and 13th Street. This agreement allows PEC, Professional Engineering Consultants, to move the plans for this project along to a preliminary stage where we can begin to acquire necessary right-of-way for the project. In the future, as we move towards construction, there will be another supplemental agreement to bring the plans to final construction documents ready for bid. The preliminary engineering, final engineering, conceptual design are all part of the city's local match to the base grant that was awarded for this project from the Department of Commerce.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, sir.
I move to approve the supplemental agreement number 1 with Professional Engineering Consultants and then not to exceed amount of $78,700 and authorize the mayor to sign said agreement.
Second.
Who was that?
Mike.
I was hearing echoes. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Motion carries 6-0. 159th project US 54 to Central, KDOT estimate of possible local share. And Les again will talk to us about this.
You may recall from other projects recently that the process with the WAMPO funds, KDOT administration of local projects, requires KDOT to inform you of what their opinion of the local share of the project costs are before they bid. This project is set for bid on October 19th. KDOT's asking for our concurrence with what they think the local share is. Once again, that increase in this local share reflects the construction market right now. I did some math on that, and since this estimate was prepared all the way back in 2019, the estimated costs have risen 37.5%. We're hopeful in this instance again that KDOT's estimate is conservative and we're able to pass along some savings on that bid. But in order to proceed to the bid, we have to accept KDOT's estimate and our concurrence that the city agrees to its proposed share.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes, sir.
Just one, I guess, quick question. So if we agree to the concurrence, that's fine. What happens then if it goes over that amount? Will KDOT then, or the state, put it back on us to make up the difference if it's way over the concurrence, or?
That's one of the risks in using these federal funds is the cap amount is established many years in advance. In this case, back in 2019, that cap was established at $4,485,000 from the federal government passed through KDOT. So anything above and beyond that is the local share. Now, once the project is bid, I'll be back to you again with our concurrence to award the project. That's where we look at the number that's actually been bid and decide if we're good with our local share. We hope it's less than this estimate, but if it's more than this estimate, we'll be asking you to concur with that bid.
Thanks, Les. Mr. Mayor?
Yes, sir.
I move to authorize the Director of Community Development to sign Kansas Department of Transportation estimate of possible share of the cost for the 159th Street Improvements Project 008N-0692-01.
Second. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Motion carries 6-0. City Hall repairs, 042922, building and roof, 16-1. And Rick will talk to us about this this evening.
Mr. Mayor and Council, following the April 29 tornado, we had some contractors come out and inspect the roof. One was Key Construction. They, up on the roof, identified some repairs that were required. They then presented to us a proposal for all the building repairs. To some extent, some of the scope was a little open-ended and included a total roof repair, which EMC was hesitant to do at the time. EMC then, we worked through with EMC and Mahaney Roofing to come out and look at it. They worked with EMC some more. EMC agreed to replace all the metal on the roof so that we don't have mismatched colors on the roof. A fair amount of wall panels, siding, or guttering, and some items like that, some fascia and such. After we got EMC to agree to that, we contacted Crossland to see if they would give us a price for doing the work. Crossland came out, looked at the project pretty hard, and then I have to tell you, I'm pretty pleased with Crossland. They just said, you know what, I think you just need to hire Mahaney, because all we're going to have to do is hire Mahaney. So we'll have to add some cost to that cost to run that job. And talking with EMC, they didn't have any desire for us to hire a general contractor to oversee Mahaney because they didn't want to pay the cost on top of that. So if we did do that and any cost would incur over what Mahaney's cost was, it would be on the city. By doing it this way, Mahaney's cost, all their complete costs is covered completely. I should say we have a $5,000, I believe, $5,000 deductible for all of our loss in Central Park, all of our building loss. So it's spread amongst all the buildings. But outside of that $5,000, all this is completely covered by EMC and approved by EMC. Staff is recommending that we go ahead and hire Mahaney Metals to do this work. I would also say that they've done quite a few jobs in town. One of them was the roof work on, help me out, is that Prairie Creek Elementary School, and they did a pretty quick job getting that back open. It's a pretty big job, but, and this is expensive. Apparently the curve on this roof requires a special piece of equipment to make it happen.
Mr. Mayor, I have a question for Rick. Is the year warranty, Rick, is that pretty standard as far as the industry standard for roofing?
For workmanship, yes. I believe I want to say it's a 20-year. I can't remember off the top of my head. We do get
The other warranty was 20, I think.
Yeah, that doesn't mean it's going to last that long.
No.
But even if you say it's a 50-year roof, I mean, it could last a year or two, but the workmanship warranty is standard for 1 year.
Thank you, Mike. Mr. Mayor,
Yes, sir.
I move to approve a contract with Mahaney Metals, Wichita, Kansas for repairs to the city hall in the amount of $523,698.
Second.
Any further questions or discussion?
I do have a real quick question, Mr. Mayor. Donna, how, I know how insurance companies work. Can we afford, how fast do they turn around and pay us back? Because in here it says, they need a payment within 15 days and.
Yeah, that's not an issue. In fact, we've gotten a lot of the stuff from EMC prior to us doing the repair, so we're good.
I just, was curious about that.
Yeah.
They've already paid us the depreciated portion of it. So once we do the work, I'll send them the receipts and they will pay that replacement cost versus the depreciated.
One more thing, Mr. Mayor. You check with them because they were just bought out by another company, national company out of Chicago. So Tecta just bought them out. So I don't know if they have to change the contract name or what.
I'll verify that with them.
All right.
Anyone else? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Motion carries 6-0. Cornerstone 5th Edition 17-1 bid award, water, sewer, and drainage improvements. Rick, again, will speak with us.
So this project has kind of been out there for a while. They ran into a snag when they were doing this with the drainage off-site was where the storage, the detention of the runoff was supposed to take place. There was some issues that's been successfully resolved with the adjoining property owners. And the developer was ready to proceed on. When it was bid, the water portion was over by $20,850.15. Oh, and it exceeded the petition. The developer and the low bidder have a letter of agreement that they will buy down that part of that $20,850.15 to keep the project within the petition limits. The other phases, the sewer and drainage, were well under the petition limits. This is one of those projects that is 75% city at large and 25% governing body. City pays for that as approved by the governing body previously. If anyone has any questions, I'd be happy to try to answer them.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, sir.
I move to accept the lowest qualified bid from Noah Construction Incorporated, Goddard, Kansas, in the amount of $311,123.60 and reject all other bids and authorize the mayor to sign the contract for the Cornerstone 5th Edition water, sewer, and drainage improvements.
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Motion carries 6-0. Street Rehab 2022, change order 1, Phillip and Elaine. And Rick will speak to us about this.
So in this area, we had originally three phases of work. The blue up on the map up there is the other two phases shown into one. When we bid this project, the bids came in well underneath the engineer's estimate. And we began looking at this and thinking amongst ourselves, and we decided that maybe we would approach the contractor about change ordering in the next two phases. Because immediately after that, we started seeing increases in the asphalt prices. When we originally approached Pearson, who was the low bid, they were hesitant to do that because of the recent price increases, and they didn't want to necessarily do that much more additional work at that same rate, unit rate. After we talked to them for a little bit, they went back, thought about it, sat on it for a little while, looked, I believe, at their schedule, see how it fit, and decided that they could go ahead and honor those unit prices. So the change order is just for extra quantity. It doesn't change how much they're getting paid on per square yard or anything along that lines. So we had a neighborhood meeting on this, I want to say last week. I'm getting fuzzy on my dates here. And we went ahead and notified all the neighbors up in that area because a lot of them were going to have to drive through that neighborhood to get there, and wanted them to be aware of what was going on. And several neighbors wanted me to express to council tonight. They were there, that were in the other phases, and wanted me to express to council that their desire to have this work change ordered in and get done. I will tell you that this is originally a chip seal streets that probably are about 30 years past their original life expectancy. So we've gotten our life out of these streets and then some. It is some of the areas that is the hardest for us to maintain because the chip seal street just doesn't lend itself well to patching. It's really meant to be re-chipped over and over and over and redone. This will expend the remaining budget of our street rehab work for 2022. If anyone has any questions, I'd be more than happy to answer them.
So Rick, we're wanting to do all of the red then? Is that what we're?
The red was in original, the blue would be it.
So the blue is what the change order is?
Correct.
Okay.
So will it be continuous work or will they how's that going to transpire?
If weather holds, they will just move continuously through. That's what they expressed to us. We did give them a little bigger window to get the work done because if we would have held them to the original contract time, then they obviously weren't going to be agreeable to the change order and subject themselves to a tight window with liquidated damages at possibility. So they do have until the spring. I think their plan right now is to do the Phillip section first, then do Ellen, and if this change order is approved, they will leave the top surface lift off of Ellen, come in and then do the streets going north of Ellen, and then come back and do the surface lift on Ellen and then work their way back towards Central with the remaining so that they're not tracking over a new street with their loads and so forth. I think it's a pretty good plan on their end. They have recently done this type of work for us and done it satisfactory.
I'm not seeing Murdoch and 8th Street on your little color code.
It is not on this. It was not originally in the budget for 22. It's in our future year budgets.
Okay. And what about bench? Is it not going to get done? I can't remember what it looks like, Rick, or
the work shown here is what was all in 22. I cannot answer you on the phasing schedule, but we just didn't have in the program budget to do it all at one time.
All right. And I only ask because I'm going to get asked, right?
Yes, and we've been approached by people on, I believe it's 10th too.
Yes. I heard about that as well.
So this doesn't fix all the streets in town by any stretch, but it gets us headed in the right direction to where we can chip away at the rest. And I believe in our 5-year plan. This is year 2 of our 5-year plan. I believe in our 5-year plan, those are all taken care of. Now I will caution you on our 5-year plan was done in beginning in 19 or into 19 first of 20. And as Mr. Mangus just alluded that we're seeing about a 34% price increase on construction. So I can't guarantee that we can get it all done in the same time frame. It may push us out a few years yet to get them all done because we do want to still do our preventive maintenance and take care of the streets that are in good shape and keep those in good shape at the same time.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes, sir.
So just this is me, Rick, the non-construction guy. But on that bench street, and you just talked about, trucks going over new streets and then loads. Why can't we just do that little, right there and finish that blue line out?
Oh, yeah, you're talking up there. I'm sorry, I can't read it from here. Where that blue line stops, where the blue line stops, that's where the pavement stops. We're not taking gravel streets that are not pavement to begin with and repaving them. We're only doing maintenance on existing paved streets.
Is that where you're not doing boiling?
Correct.
And then this is just going to be more chip seal, a different chip seal, or this is totally?
No, this is going to be putting it in to where we can maintain it. This is going to remove 11 inches of existing material. I've been told in some spots it's quite a bit of asphalt. I've been told in other spots it's just the chip seal. And we'll take it down to 11 inches. We'll put a 6 inches of rock with a reinforcement mat on it, and then a 5-inch asphalt pavement on top of that.
And no curb and guttering or anything?
No curb and guttering, no storm sewer work, anything like that. It builds the street back to the same geometric profile that it is at now. We're not changing. It's not meant to fix any drainage issues. We did do a little bit of a drainage study in advance, and we identified some culverts that were either failing or undersized. And we felt like it'd be wise to go change those out before we go put a new street or new surface on top of that street. So that work has been either completed or it's got a couple culverts to go yet that your public works staff was changing out currently.
Okay, good.
This is great. These roads are terrible. I mean, I'm excited.
My goodness.
Yeah.
Just give you all a little history, Prosperity, the citizens in 1960s, early 60s, paid to have that road blacktopped. And I believe Broadview is the same way. The folks on Boylan and the other roads did not. And that one on, that takes a little left there up at the top, it literally stops just past that gentleman's driveway or right in that area. Right?
Correct. And that's the reason the blue line stops there is we went as far as somebody originally petitioned to have it paved. And we've explained to the others that have gravel streets up in the neighborhood that they could go through the petition process, but we weren't going to go pave them as part of this project.
And the citizens in that neighborhood were asked formally or informally if they wanted the curbs and guttering. And this is a discussion we've been having for 20 years in there, and the folks just don't want it. So, and we don't know where to put the water if we was to do all that, because it's goes to our fine golf course out on the highway. So it's been a long time coming, and I'm pretty excited about it. So essentially, when I bought my house, the roads were already at failing status 30 years ago. So that's good news.
I just, as personal experience, we actually looked on a house on Phillips, and we loved the house. It was kind of older. It was great. It was a good remodel. But the street was just terrible. And as a home buyer, you look at the street and we did not, we loved it back there because it's quiet and there's nothing else back there. It's pretty remote, but that street was just terrible. So the more we can do to get these streets fixed, it will help, the resale of the homes as well.
How many years ago was that, Mr.?
That would have been 2013.
All right.
Somewhere in there.
All right.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes, sir.
I move to approve change order number 1 to the 2022 street rehabilitation Philip and Ellen project with Pearson Construction Incorporated, Wichita, Kansas, in the not to exceed amount of $597,807. I'm sorry, let me say that over. $597,000. Gosh.
Start over again.
597,000
Just thousands.
$1,887.
Second.
Sorry.
Did I hear a niner in there too?
Your head's a thick candy shell.
Is there peanut in there?
All right. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Motion carries 6-0. Been sitting close to the mayor too long, Homer.
Right.
Oh, my goodness. Where am I at? Executive session, land acquisition 19-1.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, sir.
I move to recess into executive session for discussions relating to the acquisition of real property per KSA 75-4319B6. Session to include governing body, city attorney and associates, city administrator, community development director, and assistant city administrator, and resume an open session at 8:21.
Second? Tim. Oh, my goodness.
Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Motion carries 6-0. We'll be right back.
He set the,
Let's come out of executive session.
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. 6-0.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, sir.
I move to approve the payment of $498,500 to Butler County District Court for one appraiser's award of total compensation and measure of damages in Butler County case BU-2022-CV-000083 and payment of the appraiser's invoices associated with said case.
Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Motion carries 6-0. All right, member items. Let's start at the right. Tim. Tim, do you have anything?
Mr. Well, I guess the concert was great. Everybody had a great time. It was probably one of the best concerts I think most people have gone to. So I want to thank city staff and all the volunteers who helped. City staff worked their butts off doing the concert like they do every time, and just want to thank them for that. Also, I'm probably stealing everybody's thunder, but Greater Andover Days, that's coming up this weekend. That is going to be back in full force. My kids are excited about the carnival and they're excited about the parade. So I was excited about the watermelon eating contest, but Jenny told me it was for kids. So
Are they excited about the tailgate party Friday night? 'Cause
No,
if they're not, they should be.
we
I'm
have
going
a
to be
football
there.
game. That's the problem. So we do have a football game that night. So, but that's all I got, Mr. Mayor.
And the carnival's showing up.
Yeah,
They're out there now.
It's great.
Troy, you have anything you'd like to share?
No, other than it would be great if other people went to the tailgate party or participated and tried to win the prize for me getting the best again. So I think everyone here should go get a nice spot at the tailgate party.
Troy, what time's the tailgate party?
6 to 9.
6 o'clock on Friday?
Yep. Yeah. At least come get some jalapeno poppers for me. They're really good.
There you go.
Are they good?
Oh, yeah.
Heike, anything you'd like to share with us?
Nothing tonight.
Had a wonderful time at the McConnell Air Force Base air show this past weekend. If you have never experienced United States Air Force in their finest, what an amazing group of people. Makes me proud to know that we all sleep easy as they protect our skies and the military people just in general that give us those freedoms. So hats off to the Air Force and wonderful performance this past weekend.
Sounds like it's coming back 2024 too. That's exciting. I participated in the Wampo pedestrian bicycle traffic count this last weekend on Saturday. Click. Yes, I clicked away, and Scott can attest. I was there suited up, ready to go. It was amazing, and I had fun. I volunteered for it, and it was interesting to experience that and take into account what Wampo's doing for the city. All the, we bring stuff to city council, we bring stuff to commissioner meetings, that kind of stuff. The public doesn't understand what all data is then fed into some of these decisions that's easy for us to just come up here and say yes or no to. So there's a lot of stuff, data, nerd stuff that happens on the back end of it that I really like. So anyway, I enjoy it. Greater Andover Days. Troy, I guess I'll see you at the tailgate voting for public choice. And again, to reiterate what Tim said in regards to staff, Rick, I saw Rick on Saturday night, and he was deserved a well rest after I saw him. So appreciate all the work you guys do, and just have a great rest of the week. Go Andover Days.
All right. And I want to go off what Scott was saying, that the Shelby and I both just finished the Citizens Academy, and to say it's eye-opening is an understatement. You just don't think of the little nuances and stuff that SROs and 911 and the dog training and all the things. It was just truly eye-opening to me. Of course, I missed 3 classes that I'll make up this fall, but if the Citizens of Andover, you really should take a look at it, and you're not too old. And I think they start at 18, but there's folks in there older than me, which is hard to believe. But Shelby did quite well at it. And she, of course, she had to miss a couple classes so she could go on a cruise. But, it's all right. It was a good time for all. It was a good time for all. But really seriously think about taking the Citizens Academy next time. It's truly eye-opening, and give it a shot. And if you have to miss classes to go on a cruise or something, they don't care. So
You
that's
didn't go
it.
on a cruise though, and you missed classes?
That's true.
Pardon me?
Why'd you miss classes?
I'm a very important man.
Mr. Mayor and Council, I do want to point out that the Chamber's been promoting a community conversation on childcare, and that's going to happen in this room on October 18th over lunch. I think this is a really important topic in our community with regard to workforce in a lot of different areas. So the city will be providing lunch for that meal. So if you sign up to register, your lunch will be provided. Andrea Elliott, who's in charge of all the childcare for the Metro YMCA's, will be helping us walk through that conversation. And it's really just an exploratory opportunity to find out where are the barriers to childcare in Andover, and is it something we need to continue to pursue and look at, or is it not a barrier in Andover? So would welcome any and all of you to attend that.
I'm glad you said that, because Phil Benedict over in El Dorado is also pushing very hard, because it's a real problem over there as well, and maybe more so because it's obviously a different citizenship, right? So it's a real problem we have in Butler County, and Augusta as well. Everywhere. Childcare is a real issue, and if we can help, then we should do that. All right, thank you. Bring that up.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, sir.
I move to adjourn.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Motion carries 6-0.